Violence in focus. Tahawwur Rahman Bark appears before SIT. The truth behind Sambal violence. Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
Hello and welcome. You're watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Tanisha Awasthi. Let's quickly take you through the 6 stories, the agenda stories of the day. First up, in Jaipur, a SUV rams into a busy street, into people, and in Jaipur, this happened where the accused is a Congress leader. Now, all seems to be not well within the TMC. The disgraceful spat of the 2 TMC MPs is out in public. Meanwhile, there is no going back for the 2611 mastermind Tahawwur Rana, as the United States court has now rejected his plea. The Sambal riot investigation is back in focus, ladies and gentlemen, and this time it is the Samajwadi Party MP that you see on your screens, Tahawwur Rahman Bark, whose role is being probed. Meanwhile, the tariff war between the United States and China is only escalating after Trump has threatened China of additional tariff. It is China who says that they will fight till the end. And finally, the pro-monarchy protest is gaining momentum in Nepal, and Republic is reporting from the country's capital, Kathmandu. We'll get you all the 6 stories, but first, let's get our focus into a breaking news that's just coming in, where we learn that a massive protest has erupted in Rangothananganj in Murshidabad as the demonstrators demanded the repeal of the Waqf Amendment Act. Now, the protesters carrying Indian and Palestinian flags blocked.
आजादी का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप कुछ भी करेंगे सड़क पर।
All right, violence and mayhem in West Bengal, in Murshidabad specifically, where you see on your screen, these are the live shots of the violence that broke out in Murshidabad, and this is after protest took place after the Waqf Amendment Act came into being. Now, we learned that the protesters carried Indian and Palestinian flags, also blocked the National Highway 34, leading to a standoff with the police, and the police in turn used tear gas cell to control the situation on ground. There you see protesters. These are masked protesters who are pelting stones. Violence and complete mayhem, vandalism that's there in Murshidabad in West Bengal, and this is in regard with the Waqf Amendment Act that is in the country now. Priya Brother, my colleague, is joining me live from the newsroom on that. Priya Brother, what happened? Take us through the incident that took place, and what is the situation on ground right now?
Well, Tanisha, it's absolute mayhem on the streets of Murshidabad. These are visuals from Raghunathganj in Murshidabad. The masked Muslim protesters have taken to the streets and have resorted to absolute civil disobedience. And they're basically taken to the streets seeking the repealment of the Waqf Amendment Act. Now remember, both houses of the parliament had passed the landmark Waqf Reform Bill with absolute majority, and President Draupadi Murmu had signed it into law subsequently. But then the passage of this bill and the president's assent had been followed by massive street protests, challenging the constitutionality of this law, the constitutional standing of this law, and even pleas were filed before the Supreme Court contesting the bill. But now, what we see in West Bengal is absolute mayhem, civil disobedience, chaos, mass protesters taking to the streets, torching vehicles, putting up Palestinian flags. I mean, that's an absolute that's the height of provocation. It's open provocation on the streets of Raghunathganj. You can see the visuals of a car up in flames in Raghunathganj, and there are we are given to understand that the protesters blocked the National Highway 34 and resorted to arson and absolute chaotic conduct. And we are told that there was also a police contingent that responded to the protests, and what followed was a standoff between the protesters and the police. So this is what we're getting to learn from Murshidabad. Back to you.
Right. Priyabrata, also take us through if we know the identity of these people who are seen pelting stones. As we see on our screens, there you see there are masked men who are seen pelting stones. Soon after that is when a vehicle has been set on fire, and this is clearly not just protest, it is anarchy. Priyabrata, do we know the details of who these people are?
No, not right now, Tanisha. There's no details about who these people were, but I mean, like I told you, these were mass protesters taking to the streets and resorting to absolute civil disobedience and mayhem. Now, the larger question here is, I mean, did the police respond late to the situation, or were there bystanders to what unfolded on the streets of Raghunathganj? That is the larger question here. Back to you.
Absolutely. Priyabrata, thank you for getting all those details. The visuals that you see on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, are from Murshidabad. These are protests that took place in Murshidabad in West Bengal, and this is in regard with the Waqf Amendment Act. There are protesters who took to the streets in Murshidabad. Complete mayhem and anarchy, street anarchy that's there on the street. And remember, these are not protesters, but these are the people who want to create anarchy in the nation, and this time it is Murshidabad in West Bengal. Now we move on to the other stories that we're tracking on this edition. Now, in the city of Jaipur and Rajasthan, 3 people died and 8 were injured after being run over by a man who was driving his car under the influence of alcohol. Now, it was around 9 p.m. when a Creta car from MI Road towards the walled city causing the accident on the way. Watch the CCTV footage that shows the car speeding down the road, hitting the people, vehicles and objects coming in its way. Now, as per the eyewitness, Dipendra, the car ran down a girl and then crashed into his bike. Watch how the SUV struck a motorcycle, a scooter, and then a total of 3 vehicles in a row, causing mayhem in a narrow, overcrowded lane in Nahagarh in Jaipur. Here's the uncut video of the incident. Now here's the twist. The accused in the hit and run case, Usman Khan, was a Congress member and has been subsequently expelled from the party district working committee following the incident. According to the police, the car had earlier crashed into several vehicles. While fleeing the scene, the driver was involved in accidents at 3 different locations. Eventually, locals caught the driver and beat him up before handing him over to the police. Joining us live on the broadcast is Vaibhav, my colleague who's reporting live from Jaipur on that. Vaibhav, क्या हालत है अभी उन लोगों की जो इंजर्ड है? हम जानते हैं कि 3 लोग ऑलरेडी इस हादसे में अपनी जान गंवा चुके हैं. क्या अपडेट है उनका जो अभी हॉस्पिटल में भर्ती हैं?
देखिए, बिल्कुल तनिषा, इस पूरे मामले में 9 लोग ऐसे थे जिन 9 लोगों को उस्मान की कार ने चोट मारी थी. 9 लोगों में से 3 लोगों की डेथ हो चुकी है, जबकि 6 लोग ऐसे हैं जो अभी भी इंजर्ड हैं. और इन लोगों में 2 बच्चियां भी हैं जिनके पैर पे चोट लगी है, और एक बच्ची ऐसी है जिसके जबड़े पे पूरी तरह से टूटकर जबड़ा जो है वो अंदर की तरफ धंस गया है, जिससे वो बच्ची जो है वो बोलने में पूरी तरह से असमर्थ हो गई है. फिलहाल सबसे महत्वपूर्ण ये है क्योंकि उस्मान का सीधे संपर्क जो है वो कांग्रेस की राजस्थान की टॉप लीडरशिप से था, और उस्मान के अब तमाम फोटोज भी वायरल हो रहे हैं, जिन फोटोज में ये देखा जा सकता है कि राजस्थान कांग्रेस के तमाम बड़े नेता जिनके संपर्क में उस्मान था. फिलहाल कांग्रेस राजस्थान की तरफ से उस्मान को सभी पदों से जो है वो बेदखल कर दिया गया है. लेकिन सवाल यही है कि रात के तकरीबन 9, सवा 9 बजे के आसपास उस्मान अपनी क्रेटा गाड़ी को लेकर उस सकरी गली में शराब के नशे में जाता है, और धुत नशे में वो लगातार लोगों को ठोकरें मारते हुए आगे बढ़ता जाता है। नाहरगढ़ थाना वहां से महज चंद कदमों की दूरी पर था। ऐसे में थाने के ठीक आगे इस तरह के हादसे का होना अपने आप में बहुत सारे सवाल जो है वो तनिषा खड़े करता है। महत्वपूर्ण ये भी है क्योंकि उसकी गिरफ्तारी हो चुकी है। तमाम बीजेपी के टॉप लीडरशिप जो है वो नाहरगढ़ थाने में आज पूरा दिन बैठी रही और उन लोगों की मांग ये थी कि जितने लोग इसमें घायल हैं, जिनकी मौत हो चुकी है, उनके परिवार वालों को उचित मुआवजा दिया जाए, जिसके बाद सरकार की तरफ से ऐलान किया गया कि 50-50 लाख रुपए जो है वो मृतक के परिवार वालों को दिए जाएंगे, जबकि जो घायल हैं उनको भी मुआवजा राशि का ऐलान किया गया और एक संविदा पर नौकरी की बात परिवार के एक सदस्य को कही गई। लेकिन जो प्रदर्शन कर रहे थे, क्योंकि सुबह से हमने देखा बड़ी चौपट और छोटी चौपट का वो इलाका जिसको जाम कर दिया गया था, बैरिकेड्स लगाए गए थे पुलिस की तरफ से और पूरी कोशिश यही थी कि प्रदेश के अंदर, राजस्थान की राजधानी जयपुर के अंदर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की सिचुएशन जो है वो ना बिगड़े, जिसके चलते वहां पर पुलिस फोर्सेस की मुस्तैदी जो है वो जबरदस्त की गई थी। पूरा दिन प्रदर्शन हुआ। लोगों की मांग ये थी कि प्रशासन जिन बातों को तनिषा कह रहा है उन बातों को अगर वो रिटर्न में दे देता है तो प्रदर्शनकारी वहां से चले जाएंगे। लेकिन फिलहाल अपडेट ये है, अभी रिटर्न में तनिषा कुछ नहीं दिया गया है। हालात सामान्य है जयपुर के, स्थितियां फिलहाल कंट्रोल में है।
Thank you. Right. Thank you very much, Vaibhav, for sharing those details. We move on to the other stories that we're tracking now. The Trinamool Congress finds itself embroiled in another embarrassing incident. The Trinamool Congress is in the middle of a political crisis as a spat between its parliamentarians has escalated. Now, the Bharatiya Janata Party has released videos and screenshots capturing a verbal spat between the Trinamool Congress MPs. The shared video footage of a verbal spat between Kalyan Banerjee and another TMC MP, Mahua Moitra, allegedly shows the altercation that took place on April 4th at the Election Commission of India headquarters. Now, there is where both the TMC leaders had gone to submit a memorandum. Now, he claimed that the situation became so intense that one of the MPs called for a police intervention. Here's what happened.
I do. Man, leave it. We are in a public place, brother. I'm pleading with you all. I'm pleading with you all. Are there 13 of us? सब MP है। सब हम लोग मेरा MP है।
इसको बोलते होंगे अरेस्ट करोगे।
हाँ 13 सर आके शेयर दो प्लीज।
मोहिरा बोले
शो वन प्लीज मोवा।
छोटा बोला अरेस्ट करोगे। क्या हाल है?
मीडिया हो जाएगा।
होग ना। मीडिया ही होग। हमें तो चाय मीडिया होग। तो कतो बड़ा अशुभ हमारे करिए। ग्रुपिंग में जब होगा तब हम भी कुछ करेंगे। देखता है। करिए। But I will not allow to do any illegal work. We are not coming for any private agency here. चला अरे क्या तुम नहीं हम अंदर नहीं है तुम क्या समझ रहे हो मुझको तुम क्या समझ रहे हो मुझको हम कोटा में नहीं आया है भाई और उन लोग अलग पार्टी छोड़ के नहीं आया है बाकी दिन तुम हमसे झगड़ा करो हम छेड़ दो if you start you have to I will finish no if you start
you are a senior MP
no if you start I will finish it
please
পাশে দুজন বড় পুরুষ মন্ত্রী নিয়ে বেশি জোর দেখিও না আমার কাছে আমার অনেক দেখা হয়ে গেছে
our humble request দাদা please
Where is the form? Where is the thing?
কিছুই না সবাইকে কেটে দিতে হবে কেউ থাকবে না উনি একা থাকবেন
Joining us live on the broadcast is Niladri Bhattacharya. He backs the TMC. Niladri, it is out in the open. I am not sure how you're going to defend that, but the TMC spat is there. It's public. The infighting in the TMC is undeniable. What do you have to say on that?
See, TMC is like one large family.
There are differences, opinion is bound to occur in any families. A fight has happened, we are all saying it. And I'm very sure the party will take internal decisions on it as to how to sort it out. It should not have happened in public, but it is not that fights do not happen. Fights happen if 2 people are there, if 5 people are there, there is bound to be differences of opinion. But Kalyan Banerjee is a very respected politician of the last 40 years for the TMC, and he has been defending the party on very heavy issues in the parliament. A good orator, good spokesperson, a good politician. But let's see, it should not have happened in the public. That is one only thing I have to say. But what is the actual cause of that? The party will look into it.
Right, Niladri, thank you very much for sharing your insights on that infighting that's there in the TMC. We move on to the other stories that we're tracking now. In a major setback to Pakistani-origin Canadian and 26/11 attack plotter Tahawwur Rana, who is wanted by India for his involvement in the 2008 Mumbai terror attack, the United States Supreme Court has denied his application seeking a stay on his extradition to India. Now, the United States top court's decision cleared the way for Tahawwur Rana to be brought back to India, has been pushing for Rana's extradition for several years. Now, India has issued a warrant for his arrest in August 2018 in a significant development during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the United States. In February this year, President Donald Trump had announced that the extradition will be done, saying that he will face justice. Listen in to what Trump had to say back then.
I'm pleased to announce that my administration has approved the extradition of one of the plotters and one of the very evil people of the world, and having to do with the horrific 2008 Mumbai terrorist attack, to face justice in India. So he's going to be going back to India, face justice.
Kaswar, my colleague, is joining me live from Islamabad on that. Kaswar, there seems to be no going back for the 26/11 plotter. What are you picking up in this regard?
Well, when we talk about the Pakistan reaction, let me tell you very clearly that Pakistan has no reaction at all officially. And I tried to contact some of the Pakistani officials, and in fact, I wanted them to speak on the record, but all of them maintain that since he is not a Pakistani national, then what to talk about him? Whether he's being extradited by India or not. He's a Canadian national. Pakistan is nothing to do with him. So there is no question of attempting to talk about a Canadian national. So this is what I got to know from Pakistan side. And I don't see Pakistan's Minister of Foreign Affairs commenting on this subject today, tomorrow, or even after a week as well. So Pakistan is not ready to comment on what's happening to Tahawwur Rana and other circumstances between Indians and United States of America as well. So this is the latest that I can tell you from Islamabad at the moment.
Right. Thank you very much, Kaswa, for getting those details for us. We move on to the other stories that we're tracking now. Ladies and gentlemen, the riots that broke out in Uttar Pradesh's Sambhal on November 2024 is back in focus once again. Now, Samajwadi Party MP Ziaur Rahman Barq was questioned in connection with the violence that erupted in Sambhal last year during a court survey of a mosque. Accompanied by over 10 lawyers, the Sambhal Member of Parliament reached Nakhasa police station at about 11:30 a.m. today to get his statement recorded before the SIT, which is probing the case. Now, the Samajwadi Party MP was questioned on the riots, on whether he was there when the violence broke out and if he knew the Jama Masjid Mosque cleric. Also on the SIT's questionnaire was his role in mobilizing the crowd. Here's what the Samajwadi Party MP Ziaur Rahman Barq told Republic in his defense.
सर आपने पुलिस के इन्वेस्टिगेशन ज्वाइन किया, उस पर आपका क्या?
मैंने बस कुछ नहीं, जांच की है। उन्होंने जांच का सहयोग मांगा था, मैं उसमें पहुंचा। मैंने पहले ही कहा था मैं विश्वास रखता हूं संविधान में, न्यायपालिका में, इसलिए उसके तहत माननीय उच्च न्यायालय का भी आदेश था, मैं पहुंचा और सहयोग किया मैंने।
दोबारा आपको बुलाया है?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है और मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ शायद ऐसी नौबत।
स्वास्थ्य भी थोड़ा खराब,
लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी इसलिए गया कि कहीं ऐसा कहीं मीडिया वो नहीं करे, भ्रमित नहीं करे, या जो पुलिस प्रशासन को ऐसे नहीं लगे कि मैं जांच से बच रहा हूँ।
The escalating trade tensions between the United States and China have taken a new turn, with reports suggesting that Beijing is considering a ban on the Hollywood movies in retaliation to President Donald Trump's proposed tariff. Now, this development comes significantly in terms of the global film industry and further straining the United States and China relations. Watch this report for more details.
In response to US President Donald Trump's decision to impose additional tariffs on Chinese goods, Beijing is reportedly contemplating a ban on Hollywood movies. This move is seen as direct countermeasure to what China perceives as economic erosion by the United States. The Chinese government has labeled Washington's actions as blackmail and has expressed its intent to fight till the end. The Chinese market has been a significant revenue source for Hollywood, with numerous films achieving substantial box office success in the region. A ban could lead to financial losses for American studios and may prompt shift in global film distribution strategies. Industry experts warn that such cultural sanctions could deepen the rift between the two nations, affecting not only the entertainment sector but also broader economic and diplomatic relations. As the trade war intensifies, the entertainment industry finds itself entangled in geopolitical disputes. The potential ban on Hollywood movies by China underscores the far-reaching consequences of economic policies.
Now, moving on to the last story that we're tracking in this edition, Nepal's pro-monarchist Rastriya Prajatantra Party staged a protest in Kathmandu today. Now, they demanded the reinstatement of the monarchy and the release of party leaders and cadres in police custody. Security forces were on high alert following the violent clashes during a similar protest on the March 28th in Tunke area, which left 2 dead and nearly hundreds of them injured. Now, today's demonstration held under the slogan "Let's change the system to change the situation" was spearheaded by the RPP chair Rajendra with support from Joint People's Movement. Now, tensions have been escalating between the government and the royalist groups from over a month now, and Republic is live from Kathmandu tracking the latest. Sagar, my colleague, is joining me live from Kathmandu. Sagar, it's been over a month now that the pro-monarchy protests have taken to the streets. The protesters are refusing to buy down. What is the situation currently in Kathmandu?
देखिए तनीषा, बिल्कुल अगर हम बात करें तो इस समय काठमांडू में हालात तो देखिए सामान्य है, लेकिन जो प्रदर्शन है इस समय राजशाही समर्थकों का, उनका कहना कि आने वाले दिनों में भी लगातार जारी रहेगा, क्योंकि सन 2008 में देखिए जो व्यवस्था में बदलाव हुआ, राजशाही से गणतंत्र में जिस तरह से परिवर्तन हुआ, उसके बाद बदलते समय के साथ लोगों ने यह जिक्र किया कि नहीं, अब यहाँ पर एक बार फिर से राजा की वापसी होनी चाहिए, हिंदू राष्ट्र बनना चाहिए। आज के दिन देखिए हजारों की तादाद में जब वहां पर लोग आंदोलन करने पहुंचे तो उनका भी यही कहना था कि हर दिन इसी तरह से प्रदर्शन वो करेंगे, आने वाले 15-20 दिनों के बाद फिर ये सड़कों पर उतरेंगे, आंदोलन करेंगे, इस बात का जिक्र करेंगे कि हाँ उन्हें हिंदू राष्ट्र चाहिए, राजा की वापसी चाहिए, क्योंकि नेपाल में। और अगर हम बात करें तो इस समय देखिए यहाँ पर जिक्र ये भी किया गया राजा के समर्थकों की तरफ से कि यहाँ पर जो है भ्रष्टाचार की बात करें, चाहे गरीबी की बात करें, भुखमरी की बात करें, ऐसा कहना राजा के समर्थकों का कि उसमें लगातार बढ़ोतरी हुई है और इसीलिए वो चाहते हैं कि यहाँ पर राजा की वापसी हो। क्योंकि जिस तरह से ज्ञानेंद्र शाह लगातार इस बात का जिक्र करते रहे कि मौजूदा शासनकाल सरकार में लगातार जो है अर्थव्यवस्था गिरती चली आई, लोगों को नौकरियां नहीं मिली, यहाँ पर लगातार भ्रष्टाचार हुए और यही वजह है कि लोग काफी नाराज हैं और लोग प्रदर्शन यहाँ पर कर रहे हैं। वहीं ओली की पार्टी की तरफ से कहा जा रहा है कि ये सब कुछ ये षड्यंत्र है, आने वाले दिनों में दोनों तरफ से आंदोलन तेज होने की संभावना। बैक टू स्टूडियो तनिषा।
Right, thank you very much, Sagar, for sharing all those details and joining us live on the broadcast. Viewers, that was all that we could pack in this edition of 6 Stories at 6. We will be back tomorrow, same time. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next is Live and Breaking.
MDH का किचन किंग किचन में हो तो हम सब कुछ बना सकते हैं। बैंगन का भरता, आलू गोभी, भिंडी मसाला और भी बहुत कुछ।
MDH. And so when we talk about access to space flight, historically it has only been possible to go through space through a space agency. And now with the rise of commercial access to space and in commercial space flight, we're seeing multiple paths towards accessing space. And so we see the path as going as an explorer, as a tourist, as a contest winner, as an employee of a company. And what we do at our research institute